Oil companies to start drilling right now. Today, he introduced the Drill Now Act to permanently open offshore drilling. Republican Senator Jim DeMint is here. Senator, it's always good to see that you guys can multitask. I sometimes wonder when they want to shut down all votes on everything else and just focus on one thing.
Well, Neil, you've got to realize the only reason this has expired is because we didn't do anything. This whole moratorium expired at the end of this month, and the American people were so angry that they backed down Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, so they didn't try to extend the moratorium. So this is Energy Freedom Day. It's the one silver lining up here in Washington.
So what does it mean? But when you say it's energy freedom, if I'm a governor of a state that could be affected, Florida or the Alaska governor seems to be a little busy right now, but that I could go ahead and drill, baby, drill?
Well, this is the first step. It does open a door that hadn't been open in many years. But my bill, the Drill Now Act, would actually expedite the whole process. Let the Interior Department move ahead quicker. It would allow states to share equally in the royalties, which would create incentives at the state level. And it would stop the radical environmental lawyers from delaying for years with frivolous lawsuits the leasing of the property. So we can make this happen with a little political will, and my hope is just to start ginning up support on the outside, just as we did for Energy Freedom.
Well, but you might be more confident than I am, and you're an optimistic guy to begin with, but I don't see the political will there, Senator. I see everyone fixated on this financial rescue package, whatever they're calling it, and little tolerance or patience for anything else.
Well, the people are angry with this government. They don't trust the government. And we've seen well over half of Americans demonstrate that they don't want this bailout. And they're the ones who have pushed the energy issue. And once we get past this bailout, which hopefully we'll do today, I think the American people are going to refocus on energy, the cost of gasoline, and they're going to force this Congress, I hope, after this election to do the right thing as far as...
So after the election, it would be...
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to happen before the election, and probably never will if we elect Obama here. But hopefully, if we get a McCain presidency, we can develop our own energy and begin to pay back this $700 billion we're going to throw at the markets today.
Let me ask you about what's being voted on today. They're all talking on the floor of the Senate about this measure. It's a gimme, I guess, that it's going to pass the Senate. Do you think it does? And then is it largely going to be that measure that intact will get likely approved by the House, and this thing's a done deal by the end of the week?
Yeah, I think they put sweeteners all around the same bill, but it's the same $700 billion that gives one person the ability to buy any asset in the world that they want to. I just think it's a huge move towards a socialist economy, so I'm going to oppose it, but it will easily pass the Senate. I will oppose it.
How many are joining you?
We'll probably have 10 or so. But anything with a lot of spending in the Senate is going to go through in a bipartisan fashion.
Okay, so it's got the 60 votes as a gimme. Do you think it gets up to 70?
It'll be close to 90.
Really?
Well, maybe 80. But
wow,
I think some Democrats will bail on this. But with all the sweeteners that they put on it and the directed spending for some members of the House, they'll have plenty of votes when it gets to the House, because the ones who voted no, who I think were heroes earlier in the week, have been treated like villains. But we've been trying to force...
Well, you know why they were treated like villains is the market reaction that day was sort of turned around to a threat, that this is what happens with your so-called principle.
Well, it was 300 down before when it opened that morning.
You're quite right. You're quite right.
And so I think this whole thing has been about panic and sensationalism. Okay. We do have a problem, but it was caused by bad government policy, bad Federal Reserve policy, and we're not fixing any of that. So when we get through with this, we're going to have the same problems we did before.
Senator, thank you very much. I was speaking, by the way, of what's going on in the Senate.